Maybe that's a problem.
People of Ghana voted, and the results of the election is not reflective of the votes of President Mahama. Because with that same vote, Mahama lost in 2016. That same vote. In fact, in real numbers, even he decreased his number because we have added nearly 700,000 people to the register of 2016 or more. So you have to analyze it differently. Nevertheless, MPP lost. It lost both parliamentary and presidential. I can tell you, Mario, that this loss has got nothing to do with economic.
For someone to blame.
I'm getting there. If you do the diagnosis, it's got every country in the world, when people have lost elections based on economic mismanagement, they go in droves to vote for the other party.
Or abstain?
No. I'll tell you the reason for abstinence. Everywhere citizens move in droves to support the opposition, number one reason is economic. In Ghana, I'll give you an example. In the US, Donald Trump lost election. Even when he won the first time, he lost the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. This time round when he won hugely on the popular vote at the Electoral College. And the number one reason, America will tell you, they saw grocery prices going through the roof.
Economy.
America, it was economy. In Ghana, people voted or did not vote. MPP people sat there with a loose term that people understand, voter apathy. Voter apathy affected both parties, but affected MPP even more. And voter apathy, when you analyze it, my party has sent the team around, has integrated the team. They'll come up with only one answer.
Which is?
Governance issues.
This current government?
Governance issues.
Explain that, please.
See, when people in your party are fed up with the way you are governing, they decide not to go to flock to listen. Everywhere you go, sometimes in some places, people were even at the police station who were saying they're not going to vote. It has never happened in this country. MPs were begging people who they knew. They said, no, they're not going to vote. That is not about economic mismanagement. That's about a deep-seated problem the party hasn't addressed. And that is a
party or
government
government?
issue.
So is it a party problem?
There's a party that begets the government.
Yeah.
True or
but
false?
But there's someone who runs it, correct? But
true or false?
Yes,
and when a party begets a government, right, the leadership of the party goes to the government.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's a governance issue. If it's a governance issue, it means it's the government, right?
How come you didn't notice this? Or you noticed by you?
Who says people didn't notice it?
Why didn't you fix it before election?
Who says we could fix it? You see, you can't.
You're going for the iceberg. You couldn't steer yourself away.
No, you can't imagine yourself to be a master of everything at every time. See, there are certain events that you may not be able to do anything about it, and it will hit you all over the world. It is not MPP that has suffered a crash. Look, in 1992 we had zero representation in Parliament. The country and the parties learned, because in 1992 the presidential election and the parliamentary election were two different dates. So when one party lost, they wrote the stolen verdict, and they decided that they were going to boycott Parliament. It was a party decision, right?
Yep.
Subsequently, that same party met and said that we should never have boycotted. It was better for us to go with the few seats that we would have won than to boycott. So the party changed, the country changed, and decided to fix both elections one day so that the snowball effect doesn't happen. And the snowball effect happened again in 2008, true or false? So you don't want people to do things because of a snowball effect. You want people to do things analyzing the situation around. But I can tell you, I was the vice presidential running a candidate for my party. My party lost the election. I've stood on the chamber of the floor and said, so we only can apologize to our supporters and Ghanaians and sit down, do our homework well, and come back. Because it will not be the first time the party has come back.
This is a verdict on Akufo-Addo. You agree that this election was not about you and Bawumia, but rather how Akufo-Addo has governed the party?
In 2008, when we lost, they said it was a verdict on Kufuor.
Did you agree?
Whether I agreed or not, it's not what people say. It's the people's opinion.
Do you agree now?
I'm just telling you. You are trying to say it's the verdict of Akufo-Addo. Every time, you just, even in asking the question, you said when John Mahama lost in 2016, people said it was John Mahama's fault.
I didn't say that. I said the argument was about whether it was a jockey. No, I said it was whether. No, I said it was whether the jockey or the horse.
Has no difference.
No, I said it was whether the jockey.
Jockey. Who was the jockey?
Jockey or horse. I gave you two options.
Who was the jockey?
It came from a committee.
Who was the jockey?
Jockey was the rider, and then the horse.
The rider was who?
Mahama.
Okay.
So this time around, who?
Even at 2016, questioned whether the loss was because of Mahama or NDC as a party. Nevertheless, they lost. And that's why I'm saying that no matter who you blame, the party has lost.
But you haven't brought the Ashanti votes, though. Finally, that's my last question. They said you were going to bring Ashanti votes.
I hope you never ask that question again, because it might provoke somebody to insult you. The whole country didn't vote. We lost 2.1 million votes. Can it be for only Ashanti? When I hear somebody say that, I feel really that I have to insult the person. That Ashanti didn't bring a vote. What does that mean? Did Volta region bring a vote? Go and check NDC votes in 2016 and 2024, or 2020 and 2024, and look at the votes. Even in Greater Accra, John Mahama lost votes, 5% votes, compared to the last elections. So we should not get on that. That doesn't make sense, insulting tribes and people.
Thank you.
Because if you disagree, that people will say, oh, NDC is not helping the Voltarians. It's a slippery slope we are setting up this country. In fact, in Ashanti, 65% of the people turn up to vote. 65% of the people on the register.
Which is higher than the 60% of the general turnout.
Yes!
The turnout was actually quite high.
The Ashanti region turnout was far. There were probably only 4 or 5 other regions that turned up higher than Ashanti. When you rate the 16 regions, probably the worst region of voter turnout was Volta region of Greater Accra. 46% or something. So, please, let us not tribalize things like that.
The reason I asked that,
let us not tribalize things like that. And to say, did Bawumia, the Northerner, bring the Northern votes?
Did he?
I'm asking you. So you can't ask a question that doesn't make sense, in the sense that the whole country, the votes didn't come. MPP lost.
Doc, respectfully,
2020,
Doc.
MPP got 6.7 million votes. And in 2024, MPP dropped their vote to 4.5. That is shared around the whole country. That 2.1 million loss is shared around the whole country. Ashanti region being probably, at that time, the most populous region for vote. But people also should understand that for a long time, the highest region for NDC vote has always been Ashanti region, the whole country.
And that's why many
You know
said.
that?
That's why many
You
said
believe that?
we've done the analysis.
Don't generalize and say.
see,
Do you believe that
Doc,
that the NDC's highest vote is always in Ashanti region?
Doc, the NDC's highest vote.
Omaru, Sanda.
You see, Doc,
Sanda.
my question to you
You got
is,
something that I'm asking a question.
You see,
You said you do the data. You just told people that you do the data.
I am
you do
saying
the
to you
analysis.
that, Doc.
I'm saying that
The reason-
NDC's highest, single highest regional vote. If it's NDC says they have a World Bank, right? The vote of the NDC World Bank is in Ashanti.
No problem. The reason I asked the question I asked was, you see, when you were nominated, people say, oh, you're from Menshia. It's very significant, and I'm using Menshia importantly here. They even said your lineage to Nana Prempeh.
I never heard all that.
Okay, maybe if it's not true, then that's fine. But that's what I heard. And they said
my
that-
lineage is true.
Yes,
But
so-
these arguments you are making, if the fringe makes an argument, it doesn't mean the general.
So they say you're going to
They
harvest
say
the
who?
votes.
Give me one name.
A lot of the party
No,
supporters
not the-
said
it's not true.
the reason they chose you.
The party supporters, or Bawumia didn't choose me because I was Ashanti. Have you asked Dr. Bawumia?
No, I haven't.
So how do you then go to somebody who has the exclusive reason for choosing a candidate
Very well.
and then say that some people you met at the roadside are saying they chose Napo because of Ashanti. That is, again, tribalizing elections in this country.
Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.
That's all. SHS, you've been at Ministry of Energy. Which one did you enjoy more, or which one do you think you delivered more?
I'm going to write. I'm writing books on that. So,
Give us an inkling.
4 years in Ministry of Education, I left with scars, health scars, because the work was tremendous, but it was so impactful that is what kept him going. And when I look back, the volume of work that we did, for the first time, Cabinet Secretariat decided to give me an honor just for the number of policies that we doled out in that 4 years, over 50 policies or something like that. We changed everything from basic education, from early childhood education through to university. I brought up policies from early childhood education policy, primary school policy, junior high school policy, university, tertiary education, the first of its kind in the country. We totally overhauled technical vocational education and training in this country. We've seen the results. People, somebody says data speaks, results speak. I had the chance when we started this journey to speak to you once or twice. I remember the conversations around double track. Even if we take double track as an example, we said we promised ourselves 5 to 7 years we would exit. We exited double track within 3 years. 3 years. So it's impactful. The number of infrastructure in developments that we did across the country. People don't note that in this country we've been blessed with a secondary education that is a boarding education. And I can tell you, hand on my heart, that is what has kept Ghana as a country in a region where every country seems to have imploded.
You've done 3 SHS for 8 years. With hindsight now, a better part of you, would you say there's something you should have? Maybe there are people think you should have waited and executed it at the right time. There are people said fix the infrastructure before you roll it out. Would you say that with hindsight now, there are some things you could have done better, looking at all the challenges with 3 SHS now?
Those who say fix the infrastructure have no idea what they are talking about. Do you complete your house, buy everything before you start childbirth? Or before you marry? That is life. It has never happened in this country or any country in the world when they fixed infrastructure before the country continues doing anything. Does it? You can't fix road infrastructure before people buy cars. You can't. You can't fix health infrastructure before people get sick. You can't. But what a country must do was to be continually improve, or not only the hardcore stuff you're talking about, the infrastructure, but the soft core things like the staff going to work in that, like health staff. How are you training the next generation of health staff, doctors, nurses, even doctors who have qualified? How are you positioning the country to train them to postgraduate level? Because there's a continual increase in the quality of staff working in that area that will improve their service delivery. When you look at China and you look at Ghana, from the 50s to the early 80s, and look at the trajectory of maternal health, right? You see China has improved dramatically just because now every childbirth in China is a well-supervised childbirth with a well-held, with a proper train, right? You look in Ghana, we went down. And for me, I don't believe that we, as a nation, we should tout certain things that me and you wouldn't allow our children to go there. An example, health, chip compound. Me and you, would we allow our daughter or our sister or our wife to go and deliver in a chip compound?
If we had our way, no.
No.
But the
So,
people...
see, it is not if you have your way. If you are thinking, governing a country, you have to have a plan that you don't start things that are inferior necessarily. Because childbirth must be a supervised, well-trained midwife. Simple.
The reason I asked my question about free SHS is that it's been a blessing for your government and party and also for the nation. However, there's also a view that it has become the bane of your party in that You give the people free SHS, hooray! But then after 2 years, 3 years, they realize that their children will stay home for months. They have to pay extra. Their children don't have places to sleep in the school and all of that. That's why I'm asking if you thought you would have implemented it in a better way.
It's actually not true. Before free SHS, or before we introduced the semester system, the number of contact hours for those who were doing the 3 terms, was far less than the semester system. I keep saying there's one indicator of success in education that is called contact hours. The more contact hours that you have, the better the outcomes. It's a simple indicator. So before free SHS, I kept telling you, the SSS program was a 9-term program. 9 terms.
3 years per year, 3 terms per year.
Yes, it was before we started free SHS. The last, when you go back, and I'm not criticizing any government, first year had never happened in the last 10 years or 20 years. December, they were still doing placement. Google. I don't know, for some reason, when we were in A-level, we started